Here in the United States, we received word in the last 48 hours that the earliest that we're going to be able to get together for a concert or a pro wrestling event or any type of entertainment at an arena venue, any type of gathering, any activity, any festivity for the summer, the earliest is now projected to be August or September. Now, I don't know how bad it is for you guys in your country, but here, that's where it really got serious. I mean, it's been for weeks anyway, but when you're now being told that you ain't gonna be able to enjoy a concert or any type of entertainment, any type of gathering till August or September earliest, I can't even fathom that. An entire summer going by and not being able to enjoy yourselves with not just family and friends, but with complete strangers, shooting the shit, cracking a beer, enjoying yourselves, rocking out to some music, enjoying a pro wrestling show, a freaking Broadway show. An entire summer of what? This? Staying inside and washing our hands for months to come? I understand. It's what we gotta do, and we'll do it. But uncertain times just became more uncertain. The dark clouds just became darker. I don't mean to open this vid and this review up in such a gloomy type of way. But it makes you think what we were all watching last night, night number 2 of WrestleMania 36. You had to stop and think. When's the next time they're even going to hold a big event? We already know Money in the Bank is canceled. Or maybe it goes on at the Performance Center. Listen, the only way this WrestleMania semi-worked was because it is WrestleMania. If you're going to do this for the foreseeable future, well, I see the wheels falling off that machine real quick. So Money in the Bank is just the tip of the iceberg. Then what? Then June's event looks to be canceled. July. Are we even able to come back for SummerSlam? The president of this country, the United States, who, by the way, was pushing for an April return to the economy booming. He was hoping by the end of April, everything would be back to a semi-norm. So for even he to think, to have the right people in his ear saying, dude, it's going to be many more months than that. Does SummerSlam even go on? What are you going to have? SummerSlam, the next 4 months all at the PC? I don't know if I can even handle that. Pro wrestling without a live crowd just doesn't work. We found that out. I don't mean to start this off in a depressing way, but it made me appreciate just what I was witnessing last night just a bit more. Even though it was in such a weird, awkward setting with nobody in attendance. 2 nights in a row. WrestleMania. It made me appreciate it a little more because we don't know when we're going to get that again. WrestleMania 2, or WrestleMania 2, We're going back 34 years. WrestleMania 36, Night 2, although I wouldn't mind seeing King Kong Bundy and Hulk Hogan in a steel cage main event again at WrestleMania 2. But WrestleMania 36, Night number 2, it was different than Night number 1, much more focused on storytelling. When you think about Otis and Mandy, and the culmination of their story, or maybe just a new chapter beginning. But a huge story development for them. Drew McIntyre's story culminating. Bray Wyatt and John Cena, whether you loved it or didn't, there was a story told throughout that entire segmented, and I call it a segmented match. It wasn't really a match. But man, was there so much story in that. Edge and Randy Orton for 37 minutes had their own little mini-movie. One of the longest last man standing matches I can remember. Now, if you have ADD, if you're one of those people that get bored easily, you maybe didn't like that match. But if you love storytelling, every gasp, every time they looked out of breath and didn't have anything left to give but they somehow found it within themselves to give it. If you love that type of story, then Edge and Orton delivered. Bayley and Sasha, they didn't give you the whole pie yet. It's just another slice of it. A lot of story was told on night number 2. So you can't review it the same way as night 1. It was a totally different dynamic, a totally different feel. Night number 1 wasn't that great. We all can admit that, right? It was actually bad. Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler, even if you're a diehard Becky Lynch fan, 8 minutes is all that match got. And Shayna Baszler, this beast, this badass, just gets pinned simplistically roll-up fashion. A triple threat one-on-one-on-one ladder match for the tag team titles. Yet no tag teams were involved. Braun Strowman replaces Roman last second with no real explanation and then beats Brock Lesnar, same thing, Bill Goldberg in just 3 minutes. Night 1 was pretty harsh. Personally, I needed some story to be told. Night number 2 gave us that. Was it done correctly? We're going to find that out together. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. The rules are simple. My veteran subscribers, you know the deal. For my newer subscribers, and I know I gained a bunch just from yesterday's part 1 of the good, the bad, and the ugly for WrestleMania, so welcome. So you should also know the rules by now, but just in case there's some stragglers just coming into the channel and finding this channel, the rules are simple. Every single match from last night gets a tally in either the good, the bad, or the ugly columns. When this video is all said and done, we're going to count up all the tallies. Now, you want to stay away from the ugly section, because when we do the final count, the uglies get crossed off and they turn into 2 bads. That could drastically change the outcome of whatever decision is going to be made in this review. Was night number 2 a success or not? Stay away from the ugly column. It is vital. Those are the rules. And before we get into it, I want to thank each and every one of my Amplify unit out there for coming back to this channel and showing support and love to good old BC. I know there's 100 reviewers in this community. 20 to 25 of them probably semi to really successful. That's awesome. But you guys come to Big Daddy when it's all said and done. You save the best, which is the amplified version, for last. And I thank each and every one of you. You guys know the realest deal in this community when it comes to dissecting characters, matches, and storylines. Shit, companies. BC's got you covered always. Even during these trying times, man, I will give you the utmost blunt honesty, truth, and facts. We'll do it in the most entertaining fashion. And hopefully you guys leave and walk away from a BC Amplified video. Hopefully you guys walk away more knowledgeable than when you came. Have your own opinions, your own thought process, absolutely. I just want to make you think just a bit more. I want to open your minds up just a bit more. I want you guys to question things just a bit more. I want you guys to get excited, passionate, and amplified just a bit more. Which, by the way, I'm set for this review. I got my 4-pack here. I'm all set. I got it on deck. My 4-pack of Starbucks Frappuccinos. And you want to talk about a score, guys? It's a 4-pack of mocha. I didn't even realize this till I got back home. There's a vanilla in there. A 4-pack of mocha frappuccino. And this is a vanilla. I'll probably start off with that sumbitch, actually. No, you know what? Maybe I'll do a fucking mocha. But anyway, that just shows you that I'm ready to rock this review out if you guys are, man. So without any further ado, I already explained the rules. Every match is going to be dissected. We're going to put it in a column, and we're going to see if this was good or bad. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Pop that top, and let's rock. Oh, baby, that sweet caffeine. Oh, yeah, that packs a punch, man. These Frappuccino drinks, they're no joke. You down one of these even if you're planning on relaxing and 20 minutes later you're doing moonsaults off your roof. No joke. I think I'm in like season 3 of Better Call Saul. I finally finished Breaking Bad. I'm on to Better Call Saul now. I'm into season number 3 on Netflix. And I was planning on watching 2 episodes back to back. I downed a Frappuccino drink. I sat down to watch it. 5 minutes later, I was shaving my head. No joke. You guys know I had a lot of fucking hair. Go back to the last video that I made. That was not audio format. That was face in front of the camera. You guys saw how long my hair got. I downed one of these 5 minutes later. I just needed to be doing something, man. I was amped up. So, yeah, anyway, mocha was the right choice. I'll be doing the vanilla in about 20 minutes anyway. But mocha's the good way to start this off. Speaking of starting things off, good segue, right? We started night number 2 of WrestleMania 36 with the NXT Championship women's match. Rhea Ripley, the champion, taking on challenger Charlotte Flair. They gave these two 20 minutes. And when I say they gave these two, I really mean Charlotte Flair. You know damn well Vince McMahon is not giving Rhea Ripley 20 minutes. He's just not. Don't fool yourself. It was Charlotte Flair in the match. So the old man in Stamford made sure that Charlotte got 20 minutes. That may not seem like a long time, but if you do your research, go back into the history, and you don't have to. That's why I'm here for you guys. I'm your one stop for everything, right? I'm like a convenience store. You can go in, get your fucking Twinkies, your coffee, your lottery tickets, your smokes, whatever you need to do, man, and be out in 5 minutes. When it comes to pro wrestling, I'm your convenience store. You come in, you get all your knowledge, and you're out. But I've done my research, guys. I know women usually get around 5 to 10 minutes on the average, if they're lucky. A lot of these WrestleMania women matches, around 8 minutes. Look at Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler, for instance. If you're really lucky, they'll give you nearly 15. That's really good. 20 for women? Unheard of for the most part. Charlotte Flair got that last night. And Rhea Ripley was the beneficiary of this. Now, no bullshit. From the jump, these two were very physical with one another. You really felt like these two just couldn't stand one another. So that's good. You could really feel that in their mannerisms, in their expressions, in the way that they were slapping the shit out of one another, actually. Especially Charlotte to Rhea. Both are good wrestlers, but this was less of a wrestling match and more of a brawl. So I didn't mind that. I mean, there was some animosity there to begin with, so that makes perfect sense. It was just a little odd because they can actually wrestle too if they wanted to, but this was just there was a lot of animosity. It was very physical. You could tell they just decided to play to the story a bit more than the actual wrestling. We got some wrestling too, always a plus, especially in a 20-minute match, but I just felt it was more of just a little bit of a brawl format. I'm cool with that though, man. It was actually not bad. Match-wise, this was not bad at all. Again, after 20 minutes, I can't help but harp on the fact that the old man will do anything for Charlotte, man. Rhea and Charlotte didn't need 20 minutes. I can think of some women's championship matches that could have desperately needed just 15 that never even saw the light of day. 20? But after the 20 minutes, Charlotte Flair tapped out Rhea Ripley to become the new NXT Women's Champion. I think we all expected that. There was just no way Vince was going any other way than Charlotte walking away with gold. There was just no way it was going to happen. And it was odd because Rhea put up a good fight, but I never truly felt like she had the upper hand in this match. I never truly felt that Rhea Ripley was a real threat in this match. She had her moments. A couple of times she gained the upper hand, but she never really grasped this match. This was always Charlotte's. Charlotte was clearly the most dominant. I guess that is exactly what was by design, right? I think that's what the old man wanted. Charlotte looked strong by controlling this entire match throughout, and even when it's finished, she's winning and walking away with the gold. Charlotte looks like absolute gold here. No pun intended, she just got the gold. But she looks star status. And Rhea Ripley's over there tapping out, never really getting the number of Charlotte. There are obvious things that I would change here and do differently. But for the most part, again, the match was good. Realistically, either woman in this match could have won this. Rhea's damn good. Charlotte is damn good. Either way, I could see either woman winning this match. My frustration isn't just in the fact that Charlotte defeated Rhea. My frustration is in the booking of Charlotte. Why does Charlotte always have to be in a big-time match, going for titles? Why not give others opportunities? And that's not saying it's a merry-go-round. I hate that, right? Everybody deserves an opportunity. I can't stand that. No, that's not the case. But there's definitely women on that roster that need that spot, that desperately need that 20-minute match that Charlotte gets repeatedly. That could use a title reign that lasts more than a week, that Charlotte does repeatedly. That's half the frustration. The other half is, what does this do for Rhea? I always tell you guys, you cannot or should not build someone up by tearing someone else down. Vince McMahon does that all too often. Charlotte looked great last night. She controlled the match. She won the championship. Great. What did that do for Rhea? If you're going to tell me it's a consolation prize, hey, BC, at least Rhea was on the grandest stage of them all, going against Charlotte Flair, one of the best of all time. Well, yeah, that's nice, but how are you going to utilize her? I just saw Rhea get controlled last night and then tap out. This is supposed to be a beast over there in NXT. You thought about all the ways that Rhea Ripley could lose that championship in NXT against who? Bianca Belair and Io Shirai. Maybe even you build her up a little bit more. Maybe a Mia Yim, my girl, Dakota Kai. I don't know if Nox is ready yet. Tegan Nox. But maybe if you build her like a Mia Yim in maybe in a few months. But Dakota's ready now. Io's ready now. Bianca's ready now. So that's how I would look at Rhea losing that championship. And oh, here's a crazy concept. Maybe in NXT. You want to solidify NXT as a brand. Rhea Ripley could have used that moment. My frustration here lies in what it does for the other individual. I see what Vince wanted to put Charlotte on that pedestal. I see that. We all saw that. We all knew that this was where this was headed. What they did for Rhea last night? Come on, guys. There's no way I can put this in any other category but the bad. And that's where it's going. The first match of the night goes into the bad column. Again, the match was good. I don't even mind Charlotte winning a regulation match with Rhea Ripley. But given the circumstances, given the fact that Charlotte is always in this spot, and given the fact that this literally did nothing for Rhea Ripley other than put her on the big stage, definitely doesn't go in the ugly. But there ain't no way there's enough good in this. I just see more bad than anything. And that's where it's being placed. New champion for NXT is Charlotte Flair. What does that mean? Have we even thought long term? Now Charlotte is what? Going to be in NXT, and now what? Now Dakota Kai and Mia Yim and Tegan Nox and Candice LeRae and Io, and they're all just shadowed by Charlotte, just like the main roster has been shadowed by her for years. Now we just play this game in NXT. I mean, how is Triple H approving this? But H has said it himself. He's got a lot of stroke, but the final call is always the old man in Stamford. Maybe H doesn't even have a say in this. Tragic. Match number 2 was Aleister Black. He defeated Bobby Lashley in just 8 minutes. Seems to be a theme, right? A lot of these WrestleMania matches were around the 8-minute mark. Not even just the females. But Aleister Black defeated Bobby Lashley in 8 minutes when Lashley went to give a devastating spear to Aleister, but instead, Lashley received a devastating, vicious black mass. Lashley was coming with a full head of steam, and Aleister just literally, he rocked his dome piece If there is a 12th row in the balcony, that's where he knocked it. I'm not sure the Performance Center has a balcony. But if it did, you would find Bobby Lashley's dome piece. I mean, it got rocked by this black mass. That is one of my favorite finishers in all of pro wrestling. That damn black mass. And I've yet to see him not deliver it in a badass fashion. And, much to the counterpart's credit, I've yet to see his opponent take it poorly. Because that'll make Aleister Black look bad. If Aleister's opponent does not take that black mass the right way, the correct way, and make it look as vicious as it should look, it looks stupid. Aleister looks stupid. So give credit to Bobby Lashley as well. He took that like a fucking straight boss. This match didn't go a second over 8 minutes. Yes, it's a match we didn't need to see at WrestleMania, middle of Monday Night Raw tops, but didn't go a second past 8 minutes. The right, correct ending. I mean, it sucks for Lashley. I don't know where he goes from here. I didn't know where he was going when he was in that feud with Rusev, to be honest. But there's no way possible Aleister could lose this match. And to see him rock Bobby Lashley's dome piece like that with that black mass, that goes into the good column. Absolutely, man. It's my boy Aleister, man. And Aleister being Aleister. Aleister doing what Aleister does best. Absolutely love that. That's, maybe not loved it, but it's good. I'll take 8 minutes to watch Aleister do his thing. That goes into the good column. So, 2 matches are down. We got 1 in the bad. We got 1 in the good. We're all tied up. Let me get a sip of my fucking Frappuccino, please. Yeah, that's the shit, man. Mocha, I'm telling you guys, man. Vanilla's good. Mocha. Third match spot was given to Otis and Dolph. This match, like most on this year's WrestleMania, as I already aforementioned, was given, you guessed it, 8 minutes. But that's all we really needed. And it was an eventful 8 minutes as well. Otis is entertaining beyond belief anyway, but I thoroughly enjoyed the finish here, which saw Mandy Rose hit the ring, slap the taste out of Sonya Deville's mouth. Legit, slap the yellow off her teeth. It was badass. She just came down, got in Sonya's face, whack a bitch. Then she goes into the ring and Mandy gives a badass stiff low blow to Dolph Ziggler. And she laid into Dolph. Mandy came down like someone on a mission, which is great to see because that's what the story entails. The whole point here is look what just happened on Friday. Your best friend just turned her back on you and your boyfriend at the time. They both just stabbed you in the back. It was all just a ruse. It was all just a sham. They went behind your back. You'd be pretty damn pissed. You'd want revenge ASAP with the quickness and in a vicious format. That's what Mandy Rose came down, the look in her face and the way she was laying it into these individuals, man. I absolutely love that. After that stiff low blow to Dolph, Otis follows that up with a caterpillar elbow and scores the W. And scores the girl in the process, scooping Mandy into his arms and giving her that one big kiss that we've been waiting for the longest. That's what I mean about an awesome culmination of a story, but also the beginning of another chapter of their story. You had a little bit of everything there. Just a long story, man, told correctly. I love that. You have a long storyline that was told correctly, for the most part, and culminating at a big pay-per-view. It's what I always preach to you guys. That is what pro wrestling was founded upon. It is simplistic to the core. Pro wrestling is not that difficult to navigate. It's simplistic at its core. The foundation of pro wrestling has always been larger-than-life characters, storylines we give a shit about, and culminating feuds at the pay-per-view. You know, with something simplistic like Dolph Ziggler and Otis, they told a beautiful story throughout, and it culminated at a big pay-per-view, this just being the biggest of the year, WrestleMania. And Otis gets the girl. I mean, it's those WrestleMania moments, it's those pay-per-view moments that you used to get, I used to when I was younger, and I know you guys did, you veteran wrestling fans out there. That's what made us fall in love with pro wrestlers. Seeing these stories develop over time, and then we get the ultimate culminating ending. Again, usually at a pay-per-view. And we finally got that. It just seems like everything was done right with this. And I don't know where we go from here, but I'm glad we at least got that. That's absolutely going into the good section. I probably should put 3 different goods for 3 different reasons in this slot, but it's only going to get one. That goes into the good column, man. Otis picks up a victory over Dolph Ziggler, but that plays second fiddle to the main reason this goes into the good. It was the story being told by everybody involved, even Sonya Deville, but especially Dolph, Otis, and Mandy, man. Everybody, kudos, props, and 2 thumbs up from the Amplified, man. Absolutely love that, man. Now on to match number 4. This was Randy Orton versus Edge, last man standing. Orton started this thing with a bang, literally. When he was on the outside disguised as a cameraman, he slides into the ring. Edge is looking toward the rampway, the entranceway, and Edge receives an RKO out of nowhere, gets rocked. Even caught the Ant-Man by surprise. He came out of nowhere legit. They didn't even show that he was disguised as a cameraman until the replay, about 25 seconds later. Then, once Edge is able to get to his feet, he gets another RKO. So, right at the jump, Edge is in a whirl of shit. Then they did what I have been waiting for from this company to do for weeks now. And they literally beat the hell out of one another all over the Performance Center. This is what I have been yearning for. You're at the PC. Get creative. You have that whole facility to work with. Do something with it. Utilize it. Play to your strengths during these trying times. Hide your weaknesses. That's a motto for anybody in life. Play to your strengths. Hide your weaknesses. You're at the PC. It's trying times. We already know the weaknesses that are in that company right now, especially during adversity. So, play to your strengths. What can you do that you normally don't have the option of doing? You're at the PC. Get creative. They literally beat the hell out of one another all over the PC. From the weight room to the boardroom to the warehouse. Edge was climbing ladders and diving through tables. Orton was DDTing Edge on a pickup truck and RKOing Edge on top of 18-wheelers. When I say this had a little bit of everything, that's an understatement. And for 37 minutes, that's right, 37 minutes, they went to war. And it was legit everything I wanted it to be. Everything I wanted it to be. And again, the ADD folk out there, the ones that get really bored real quick or just they tweet all throughout the event claiming that it's not special when they're not even fucking paying attention to it anyway. But I'm not going to knock that fan too much because that's just today's wrestling fan. They're used to ping pong ball action. And 2 wrestlers just flying over a ring like 2 ping pong balls. Like flying gymnasts. And who can outflip the other, right? But what I grew up with was storytelling, right? And that means during the match, psychology, selling. That type of shit matters to me. And what I saw for 37 minutes, and the reason it went 37 minutes, is because it was long and drawn out. They had a lot of moments where they were just in pain, in agony. They didn't know. They were questioning themselves if they can even go another second. There was a time where Edge climbed up to the 18-wheeler and Orton's literally like, "Where are you going?" With a little grin like, "You son of a bitch, you know I can't climb up there. I'm too injured." It was those little things, the gasping for air. The yearning out, like I can't do this, just give up. It was those little things, man, I just loved. So everybody else is claiming, "Oh, it was boring, it was too long." I'm over here, edge of my seat, like, keep it going, man. Go 47, go 57 minutes. To say I enjoyed this, man, this just brings me back to why I fell in love with pro wrestling in the first place. I absolutely have 37 minutes. Thankfully, I don't have ADD, and thankfully, I don't get bored if you're giving me something that is interesting. Edge versus Randy Orton beating the hell out of each other for 37 minutes all around a fucking building? Yeah, I got 37 minutes for that. But that's today's society that we live in. Everything is bing, bang, boom. Everything is on to the next. Nobody takes their time anymore. Nobody wants a good story to be told. Everything is boring to everybody. Right? Everything sucks to everybody. It's just instant gratification. Today's youth especially has everything at their fingertips. They could be sitting in their classroom and they have a cell phone. The whole world is in their hands literally. When I was in school, if you wanted to ask a girl out, you had to write it in a note, hand it to her best friend, and hope that that friend gives it to the girl you have a crush on. If you had to go and do research on a project or a paper for school, you had to literally go to the library and start doing work, researching. Today's youth, it's all right there, man. It's instant gratification. Nobody wants a story to be told anymore. 37 minutes. BC, I just can't do this in the future, man. Oh, times are rough, I know. 37 minutes with Edge and Orton. We should all be so thankful that we got to see Edge for 37 minutes. Edge drinking a fucking Frappuccino for 37 minutes, and I'm honored if it's in a WWE ring. After choking Orton out, Edge hit Orton with a concerto on top of that same 18-wheeler, and Orton did not make it up by the count of 10. Edge defeats Randy Orton in absolute dramatic fashion. To say this is in the good column is an understatement, obviously, and that's only because I don't have a great column. And the reason I don't have a great column is because this company doesn't do enough great, consistent things. Once this company does one great thing after another, you'll start to see a good, the great, the bad, and the ugly review. But until then, that's where we're at, guys. But I absolutely loved that Last Man Standing match. Man, to see Edge, I mean, it may not seem it, guys. Do you realize what that does to your body? I mean, what he was doing, this guy was jumping off fucking platforms and the tables, and he's climbing the boardroom fence netting, like above the boardroom table, and he drops an elbow. They're beating the shit out of each other into the weight sets. I mean, the toll that takes on you, and this dude just came back from that serious neck injury. Kudos and props. But that aside, I just enjoyed it thoroughly anyway. So, we're 4 matches in. We got 3 in the good, 1 in the bad. We're doing pretty good. Can we keep this up into match number 5? Now, at this point, going into the 5th match of the night, everything, again, as I aforementioned, was going good. Certainly something would ruin the vibe, right? You would think, insert the Street Bums. Montez Ford and Doughboy versus Garza and Austin Theory for the Raw Tag titles. If you're scratching your head as to why Garza is getting a tag title shot, forget that for a moment. We have bigger issues and questions to attend to. Like, for instance, why the fuck is Austin Theory getting a tag title shot? I don't care if he's good. I don't care if you really like him. Put your own personal opinion to the side for a second. He's had 1 main roster match, and he lost. That's how you get title opportunities? That's how you get to substitute somebody like Andrade? It's nonsensical, as in makes 0 sense. For those of you that don't know what nonsensical means, it makes 0 sense that Austin Theory just receives a title shot just because they needed a replacement. It's not as mind-boggling as what they did on night number 1 with the Blue Brands tag titles, where they just didn't even have a tag team match. They just took 1 person from each team and had them be in a singles match, ladder match. That's not even a... How does that... If I rethink it, guys, I'm just going to get my blood pressure way up, and then that's not going to be good, right? Especially as I'm already downing a Frappuccino here. I just can't fathom the tag title. I mean, both tag title matches here just didn't make sense. Night number 1s and night number 2s. It was just like things happened and WWE didn't even try to rectify it correctly. They just made some weird, irrational decisions. And Austin Theory, and again, even if you like Theory, I think we all like Theory. That doesn't mean that it's not as bad as Nicholas winning the championship at WrestleMania. I understand that with Braun Strowman. That's ridiculous to another level. Anyway, I won't harp it on anymore. This is about the 3rd video I've harped on this anyway. This is just the review of said match. Thankfully, this didn't go long anyway. It doesn't matter. It literally only went about 5 minutes. So it literally didn't matter. All of that harping on this, I think I harped on it longer than the match even was. But again, that's a good thing. 5 minutes tops, this match was done. Make that 0 for 2 for Theory on the main roster. The Street Bums claimed victory and retained the gold. The whole thing was dumb and not needed, so clearly this goes into the good section. Whoa, BC, what do you mean the bad section, BC? You just said you couldn't stand any of it. I couldn't. However, post-match, Bianca Belair showed up and whooped some Zelina Vega ass. First of all, it's always good to see Zelina Vega's ass anyway. But Bianca Belair's ass in there, whooping Zelina's ass, that's a whole lot of fucking ass being whooped. Bianca Belair shows up, man. She does the deed. She does her thing. Of course, she's with Montez Ford anyway, so it makes sense in that aspect. It was a nice little cool moment if you know what's going on behind the scenes. A cool surprise for sure. But to see Bianca Belair, man, showing up on the big stage of the main roster, getting some exposure, that's awesome. You know, and it's another reason that the Charlotte Flair-Rhea Ripley match went into the bad column, because you couldn't have had Bianca, if you're going to have her on WrestleMania, why not have her inserted into Rhea Ripley and Charlotte? No, Vince had to have Charlotte win totally clean. There should be no question who the superior one is. We can't have Bianca Belair arrive in a way that makes sense. She's got beef with Rhea. Bianca Belair has beef with Charlotte. Bianca doesn't have real beef with Zelina Vega. But it doesn't fucking matter. My girl Bianca Belair showed up at WrestleMania. There ain't no fucking way that's not going into the good column. So something that absolutely should have went into the bad just got totally reversed. That goes into the good column. So by the luck of a final last second decision, I'm sure that's what this was, they went out of the bad column and into the good. And after 5 matches, we have now 4 in the good, 1 in the bad. You can thank Bianca Belair for that. Match number 6 was the Fatal 5-Way for Bayley SmackDown Women's Championship. Sasha Banks, the challenger, Naomi, the challenger, Lacey Evans, the challenger, Tamina, the challenger, all going for champion Bayley's title. Tamina was eliminated first by everyone. Everyone just got on top of her and said, "Bitch, be gone." Just like that, Tamina can go back into obscurity for 3 more years until she comes back for another feud, and we all make pretend and believe that she's a real threat. Then, Naomi tapped out to the Banks statement. So Naomi was gone second. Then Sasha Banks gets pinned by Lacey Evans. I'm not even going to touch up on this. That's not a joke. Lacey Evans pinned Sasha Banks. So Sasha's gone. So now we're down to Lacey Evans and Bayley. A rematch from, what was it, guys? I think it was Royal Rumble, correct? 1-on-1, Lacey Evans and Bayley, something like that. I don't think it was Survivor Series. No, because Survivor Series, Bayley was eating a tap out to Baszler so they could protect Becky Lynch. Royal Rumble, I think, is when Lacey and Bayley was. So we just got another rematch here between Lacey Evans and Bayley for the last 5 minutes of this match. Now, Banks returned 5 minutes after being eliminated, backstabbed Evans, and Bayley wins, retaining her championship after a culminating 18.5-minute match. So even 5 women couldn't equal Charlotte's 20-minute match. They got just over 18. I'm surprised they even got that amount of time. But Bayley, by the help of Sasha Banks, after Banks was eliminated, she came in, backstabbed Evans, and Bayley was able to scoop up the victory and retain her championship. I like that, man. I really do. I understand. I mean, I don't know what I would have done if Sasha won the championship. Half of me would have been like, my girl finally did it. I would have been so happy for her and enthusiastic and amped for her. However, that's not the way I wanted it to be done, man, in front of nobody. I said the same thing about Drew McIntyre. I don't want to see it done like this, man. She's been waiting for this opportunity on the biggest stage. In front of nobody just doesn't feel right. And it just felt like that's something McMahon would probably do. But to see Bayley come out with the victory, that was so needed. Do you guys realize how much Bayley needed this? Especially after tapping out to Baszler at Survivor Series, and at Royal Rumble, her whole feud was with Lacey Evans. She doesn't feel like a champion, and she's had the title for a while, actually. But she never quite felt like a champ until last night. She went to the big stage, 4 other competitors, and she won. This is huge for Bayley, and that's how I'm looking at it. So that's just one part of why I like that decision. On the flip side, you continue Sasha and Bayley now. I don't know to what. It doesn't even look like SummerSlam is going to be taking place this year. But at least you have that, those seeds are planted. Sasha and Bayley is now planted firmly. It is cemented into the ground for the future. Whatever that future holds, Sasha and Bayley are going to come to blows. They're going to come head-to-head, face-to-face. And that was a good progression of that. Not just Bayley winning the match, but the way she won it. And Sasha looking at Bayley like, yeah, I know you had doubts. I could tell you had doubts that I was going to turn on you. Nah, or at least not yet. I really enjoyed that, man. I really did. And the fact that they even got 18 and a half minutes, that's another story. So I'm putting that into the good. You know, there's not enough for me to put that into the bad, other than Tamina and Lacey Evans were in the match. But who won this match and what happened between Sasha and Bayley there and what that sets up for the future, I like it. It's good. No harm, no foul. If this was in front of a packed arena and Sasha didn't walk away with that title, maybe we'd be singing a different tune. But I like this. After 6 matches, 5 are in the good and 1 in the bad. It should be 2 in the bad. But again, Bianca Belair saved that tag match. So we're 6 in. And night number 2 is fucking delivering big time, man. I'm going to get a sip of my frap and we're going to go in match number 7 because this is going to take a mouthful. This was the Firefly Funhouse. Oh, fuck it. You know what? Firefly, there's a lot to talk about here. Let me down this. Yeah, we got to get amped on this one, man. There's a lot to talk about. Match number 7, Firefly Funhouse. This was everything for someone like me, man, who started watching pro wrestling in the 80s. Because it wasn't really a match. I don't know what this was. I really don't. Other than exposing Vince McMahon in his creative process. Exposing Vince's faults over the years. Putting all of this stock in John Cena and hurting individuals like Bray Wyatt in the process because there were so many jabs to Vince McMahon in his creative blunders. So many jabs to John Cena, pretty much holding people like Bray down. Not stepping aside to let people like Bray get some spotlight and some shine. That's what this was. So I absolutely loved it for that reasoning, for so many reasons. But the fact that there were so many references of the 1980s, including Saturday Night's Main Event. They had the old setup where they used to do promos with a cage, and Bray's back there, and John Cena's like, what the fuck is even going on? And Bray's cutting a promo behind the cage. Saturday Night's Main Event logo is behind them, just like they used to do back in the 80s, man. I loved it. On commentary was Macho Mercy and Mr. McBossman. They relived Cena's ruthless aggression debut against Kurt Angle, even had his getup. Remember John Cena's debut outfit? It was something just so similar. It looked like his debut. And Wyatt was pretty much just recreating that. And Cena was like, he was going through the motions. It was almost like Nightmare on Elm Street. You guys ever see that movie where they're in a dream, but they can't really grasp reality? They're there, but they're not really there. They're present, but not. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Cena's like swinging at Wyatt, but he's not connecting. He's like going through him. Or Cena's ducking, or Wyatt's ducking. I mean, it was Looney Tunes. It was bonkers. It was crazy. It was everything. It really was, man. Recreates the ruthless aggression debut against Kurt Angle. Wyatt tells Cena, whoa, as Cena's trying to punch Wyatt, but nothing's landing. And Wyatt goes, you can look, but you can't touch. An obvious dig to John Cena's former fiancée, Nikki Bella. And bringing up that right in front of John Cena. I thought that was fucking awesome. Wyatt has Cena relive his thugonomics days. Then Wyatt is converted back to his Wyatt family character, cutting a promo on how 6 years ago Cena didn't move aside for his push. Again, I thought that was just fucking brilliant. Then Wyatt is playing the role of NWO Eric Bischoff. He introduces NWO John Cena. Here comes Cena, NWO shirt, rocking the Hulk Hogan air guitar on the championship. We hear audio of Vince McMahon saying, "This is such good shit." I loved it. Cena finally gets his hands on Wyatt, or so he thinks, but it turns out to be Huskus the Pig. The Fiend appears behind Cena, delivers Sister Abigail, and I guess Wyatt reigns supreme. Right? I call it Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, man. He counts to 3 and the Fiend defeats John Cena, but it never really felt like a match. This was always Bray Wyatt taking control of his career. This is Bray Wyatt calling out people like Cena, calling out people like Vince McMahon, saying, "You try to hold me down. But once you're in my house, you're going to see things are much different." I loved it, man. And this was, again, no real match, and I didn't give a fuck. This was so much fun for the 100 reasons I just aforementioned. I fucking love Bray Wyatt. The dude is straight creative gold, and I am so thankful that we have Bray Wyatt in professional wrestling, and guys like Matt Hardy. Because it's those creative minds that I love to just pick their brains. I love to be in the company of great creative minds. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy are just those type of people. Some people might be like, "Oh, that was too weird, man. That was odd. I didn't like that," or whatever. I don't even know. I know that was straight gold. That was awesome for so many reasons. And again, you have to look deeper into the messaging. And that's what I'm saying. Bray Wyatt is so creative. He's on another level. You know, a lot of people are like, "It wasn't even a match." Look deeper, man. Look at the messaging being... This is so much bigger than just a match. This is huge for so many reasons. Because the messaging here is... This is what we went through for years. This Vince McMahon only seeing you and overlooking people like Bray Wyatt himself. And this is Bray taking control once again and saying, "No, I've seen all the bullshit. I'm done with it." And man, it's just such a deep... I mean, you really have to... I haven't even fully gone to the level that Bray Wyatt was probably on, and John Cena. I mean, I'm guessing they collaborated on this usually, with maybe a suit or tie or two. But this is... It's one of those things that I haven't even fully comprehended. I just know that was entertaining as hell. You know what I mean? I mean, it was so fucking bonkers and ludicrous. It's everything I love about pro wrestling, but the messaging behind it is just on another level, again, that even I haven't fully fathomed yet. Awesome. I don't have an awesome column, so this obviously goes into the good. That's 6 in the good and 1 in the bad. Again, thank you, Bianca Belair. Could have been a little bit more different. But, man, we're going into the main event, and night 2 has delivered. And that was so awesome. Again, getting the news that we're probably not going to be able to get together until August, September earliest here in the United States. It was pretty depressing news. But when you have a night like this that's taking my mind off of that shit and just bringing me back, man. Stories were being told, like just Otis and Dolph and Mandy Rose. And seeing Bianca Belair was a pleasant surprise. And you see something like the Firefly Funhouse I've never before seen in pro wrestling, but just all of these, just everything that went into that Firefly Funhouse segmented match, whatever you want to call it, it's just mind-blowing. The last man standing match with Edge and Randy Orton, man, just so awesome. There was just so much in night number 2 that was delivered for me. And then we go in to see Drew McIntyre finally get what he so much deserved, a championship. And it sucks that it had to be this way. I think we all knew this was going to be squash fashion. We were hoping it was going to be much better, though. I mean, this was literally just the same thing they did with Braun Strowman in Goldberg. And the same thing that they did with Goldberg and Lesnar so many times. All the big dudes lately, Vince just wants them to go in, do their finishers a few times, and call it a match after a couple of minutes. We're seeing this way too often with guys like Lesnar, Goldberg, Strowman. And this is what we got in match number 8, the main event heavyweight title. Brock Lesnar champion taking on challenger Drew McIntyre. This was a 5-minute match tops. And after roughly 3 or 4 claymores, I think it was 4, Drew McIntyre defeated Brock Lesnar and became new WWE heavyweight champion. I could not be prouder of that son of a bitch. This clearly goes into the good for no other reason than Drew McIntyre had his fucking moment. Long awaited, long deserved. Drew McIntyre's your champion. And the last moment that we had for WrestleMania 36 is Drew hoisting up that championship. You're damn right that's going into the good. If for nothing else, Drew McIntyre hoisting up that championship. Yes, I wish the match was better. I wish more creativity got put into it. But that's Brock Lesnar matches now. And my fear now for Lesnar is, where do you go with him now? I mean, you pretty much killed the fact that he's a beast. He's just not anymore. And that sucks because that was the one special thing that Brock had. That's the one reason that even though he was gone for months with the championship and not defending it, it's the one reason when he came back you knew shit was going to hit the fan and business just picked up. But now you no longer believe he's a beast or a monster. So now if he wins a championship and goes away for 3 months, now you're really pissed off. More than we ever were before. Because we're just seeing him get beat every single WrestleMania now, or most. Or when it matters the most, he's just getting beat. Simplistically, too. Even though it was 4 claymores. Come on, you're Brock Lesnar, man. So, the mystique of Brock Lesnar is gone. I don't know how they get that back other than when he does return, you just have to have him annihilating human beings, left and right. He can't get beat for like a full year straight. He can't even look weak for a full year. That's how you have to book Brock now. If he's going to be part-time Brock and we're going to have to put up with him for 2 to 3 more years, which I'm okay with if you book him correctly. But correctly means book him as the beast. Doesn't mean you got to put a title on him for 6 months to a year. Just means book him like a beast. Drew got his big moment here, man. Again, that's in the good column. 7 in the good, 1 in the bad. This was an overwhelmingly good night of professional wrestling, given the circumstances. For those that say I'm way too critical, I'm too negative, I pinpoint and I pick too much at these matches. For people that say I don't try to get any positive out of this, you're wrong. I just need something to work with. I'm not just that harsh guy on YouTube, right? I'm just not the mean guy, the boogeyman on YouTube that's really harsh on pro wrestling. I'm not just that. I want to be positive. I just ask that you give me something positive to talk about. This proves that I'm not that boogeyman that everybody says I am, that I'm not some mean asshole that never looks at the good. I love these superstars. I love professional wrestling. I still love WWE. I just wish it was doing what it's capable of. That's why I'm so harsh, guys. It's not that I want to be. It's that I have to be. I don't want this channel if I can't be honest. I wouldn't have thousands of subscribers and every video wouldn't get thousands of views if I wasn't honest. The day I stop being honest is the day I end this channel. I'm not just a mean, harsh asshole. I want to talk about the good things. I just ask for them. I understand the trying times. This had a little bit of everything last night. The Mandy Rose and Otis story culminating. Bianca Belair showing up as a surprise. Drew McIntyre having his big moment. The Sasha Banks Bayley stare at each other post-match, knowing that something is set up for the future. Edge and Randy Orton going to war for over a half an hour. The Firefly Funhouse where Bray Wyatt is calling out Vince McMahon's bullshit for years now. All culminating to that segment. I mean, I'm just naming a bunch of stuff off the top of my dome piece of why I was entertained last night. And that's hard because the second night is always harder to produce than the first night, right? People are usually tired by night number 2. They need a break. Same thing happened with New Japan's Wrestle Kingdom. You guys remember night 2 could not live up to night number 1, even though there was good shit on night 2. It was panned by the critics. Night 1 was propped up more. It's hard to do, but night number 2 held its own. And that's so awesome to see. And that's it, sadly. We don't know where we go from here. That could be the last big pay-per-view that I get to talk to you guys about in pro wrestling for a long time. Honestly, it doesn't even look like SummerSlam is going to go on. The president of this country, the United States, has said again, August or September, they're hoping to have big gatherings again at like arenas. If that's the case, then how would you even be able to promote a SummerSlam beforehand? SummerSlam is literally in August. If August is the earliest, I mean, are we really, do they not take time off? Do they just literally have every week, every show at the PC when it's clear pro wrestling doesn't work without a crowd? And then we just watch a bunch of promos and a bunch of replays from past pay-per-views. Is that the formula that we're going to have for weeks and months to come? If that's the case, there's no use for me to even do these. I mean, what are we really doing? Maybe I'll show up from time to time and say hi to you guys and we'll talk about fucking Frappuccinos. The newest Frappuccino on the market. But then again, Starbucks are closed around the world too. So, I mean, I don't even know if you're going to be able to get that. I'm literally having to buy my Frappuccinos in supermarkets. I don't even know what I'm talking about now. It's just, it's rough times for all of us, man. But we're in this together. We're rocking out. Keep kicking ass, guys. We're going to get through this. It's going to take time. And unfortunately, that's the hardest part sometimes, right? Having patience. Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses said it best. All we need is just a little patience. Say sugar, take it slow, it'll come together fine. You and I got what it takes to make it. Oh, never faking, 'cause I can't take it. Just a little patience. Yeah, just a little patience. I've been walking the streets at night, just trying to get it right. Did I do a good Axl Rose, guys? Some of you guys have never even heard the song, so I just literally looked more of a lunatic than I usually look. It's a song by Axl Rose and Guns N' Roses. It's called Patience. I think I did a good job. Maybe not. It's hard to do Axl Rose. Give me some fucking slack. Clearly I'm losing it. I've been cooped up too long. I'm shaving my head. I'm singing Axl Rose. That's WrestleMania Night 2. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Overwhelmingly good. Maybe I'm just appreciating it more now than ever before. But I really hope that we get to come together for a pay-per-view and do this again in the near future. I really do. It doesn't look like that's the case. But I hope that I can. We'll see. But much love, guys. Thank you to every single one of you. I truly mean this. Thank you for coming to this channel. Again, you may have already saw 10 reviews of this event. I may be the first and only review that you catch. Whatever the case, the fact that you come here to get my take on it, that's awesome. And I appreciate that. And I take that very seriously. And that's why I dedicate the time and the passion that I do. When I'm watching an event and when I give you guys a review, I make sure that it is the most amplified, the most knowledgeable, the most badass review that you're going to catch in this community. The day I stop doing that is the day this channel's done. I'm out. But for now, either way, I am out. You guys rock out whether you're taking your walk now, right? Our prison walk. We're locked up 23 hours a day, but once or twice we get to go out for a half an hour walk. Whether you guys are going out for your walk or just hanging in, watching some Netflix, kick that ass. I hope to do a review on Monday Night Raw. I don't know what to expect tonight. If they actually put on a show, Tuesday morning, guys, I'll definitely have a review. So be on the lookout. Check you later. Oh, what am I saying? Think, be, live, amplified. There you go. Check you later.